Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be giving you a guide on my 1976 Rhodes piano bass, a little bit on how you can fix yours own up, how I fixed mine, what expenses I had to go through, and other sort of quirks that come with the interesting instrument. So first, I'll go into my backstory, I'll do an initial impressions video where I film right when I get it, you'll see that in a second, and then we can go from how I actually went to fixing it. The backstory isn't as cool this time around. It's just a reverb purchase. I got it for a pretty good deal, on definitely under market price, from a man in Texas who got it from a community college. It obviously was not used very much, inside or outside. There was no sign of rust, rodent damage, or actually, no, maybe not on that one. Rust or water damage. There was some interesting felt debris for the balance rail felts, but I'm not sure if that was man-made or not. So next up, I'll show you my initial impressions video, which I took when I first got it a week or two ago. First impressions, hardware looks pretty alright. I'm still probably going to replace it because I already bought it. Panel looks good, felt looks good. Honestly, the felt looks really nice. No issues with the bushings, which is great. They're relatively level, pretty off square though. There's only one broken tine. It's your A3. Flipping it up, I'm probably still gonna replace the dampers. Already bought them. Obviously gotta replace the grommets and screws, but pickups look fine, they all work. I'm gonna buy some stabilizers, some spring stabilizers for the back here. Just to keep these guys from oscillating out of place. But other than that, I'm just going to start with the leveling and stuff today. I got the Miracle Mod bumpers coming in soon, and then it should not feel like mushy marshmallow. So as you can tell, it really wasn't that bad at all. I was honestly really surprised, but mostly I was surprised at how big it is. I mean, I know they're a little large, and being a Rhodes, they're obviously heavy no matter what. But this is definitely something else. The original demo video was supposed to be on the Wurlitzer 140, but it is literally the length of the Wurlitzer 140, exactly 22 inches. So we're doing it with the upright piano today, and I'll also have a solo test video, just the piano bass. But other than size, the insides were really clean, wiring was clean. Like I said, the only thing was that balance rail felt, which was oddly kind of nipped at, but I didn't see any signs of rodents. I'll show you some photos now of kind of the before and after of some things. Honestly, the biggest thing was the Tolex. There was a lot of mildew or paint or something. Came off really easy. Like I said, always use convertible top cleaner by McGuire's. I did not do any STP finish on here because I don't like the feeling of that really. It's really slippery. Only if you're really doing heavy damage to the Tolex and it becomes kind of matted. Other than that, I did replace all of the hardware, which wasn't that bad at all. I think maybe $50. The only thing I didn't replace was the hinge brackets. I just kind of de-rusted them. And to be honest, I could have just steel wooled them and polished, and it would have been fine. But the price to restore this guy was so low already, I just thought, why not? So next to the hardware, I did get obviously a new Rhodes logo. I did not touch anything on the front here. This is all original. Like I said, the felts are fine. Bushings are fine. Normal amount of key wobble. It was relatively not level when I got it. A lot of them are missing felts, which is again a little odd. I did have the typical Rhodes or Wurlitzer DIY level where they put the paper punchings on top of the felt, which is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put it under.
So I took all of that out, but the only kind of weird thing when leveling was the dip. A few keys had some really off dip compared to the rest, which were pretty fine. But those keys, maybe with the Miracle mod, they were just a little off and required a lot of punchings, which I did end up going back and removing some due to the let off being a little too shallow and it double striking. The lid did have some pretty gnarly damage, I'd say. But honestly, your typical amount of Tolex damage for a lid. Though the little kind of flap plate here that the little leather straps go over for the accessory box is warped. Not sure why. It came pretty crudely placed in here. So I tried my best to unwarp it, but I didn't want to snap the plywood in there. So I just left it as is. Case honestly really fine. The convertible top cleaner fixes things up really well. And I actually haven't cleaned the bottom of this yet. And there is a stencil Lamar crayoned onto the bottom. So sorry, Lamar. But I will be removing your trace from the underside of this once I get it flipped over and ready to ship. But other than that, the top lid here did originally have some sort of water damage. I don't see any forms of water damage inside the Action or back, but in the reverb listing before he cleaned it when he shipped it, there was a significant amount from here down, some sort of stain, like something pooled there, but I don't see any sort of remnants of that stain, so I'm not gonna biggie about that. Now, before I take the top off, I want to talk to you about what I use to actually clean the top plastic lid here. I use a Musician's Gear amp case cleaner. It is a blue bottle, has a little flip up. You get it like Guitar Center and stuff. It really makes the black pop compared to kind of the scratchy, sun faded gray you kind of get from the Rhodes after a while. And I really want to specify your plates here. The chrome on these is really, really touchy. If you try to polish it, in my opinion, when I polish it with flits, it comes right off. I've ruined 2 now doing that, so I don't even touch these. I just go over them with a cloth, just kind of get the smudge off of it. But I would not polish these because I'm pretty sure it'll come right off. But the knobs, it's just an easy screw off, and then you can get under there, and it's pretty dirty when you get under the knobs usually. But the electronics I had to do no work with, which is awesome. And both pots work fine, just a little bit of contact cleaner. Now, taking a closer look at the insides, it looks really nice, doesn't it? I mean, the tone bars are all really shiny, really clean. Like I said, no rust, except for on one of the tines over here, there's a little bit of rust. Pickups look fine. The actual wood harp looks fine. All the contacts are good. Your tines are pretty much good. I did replace the dampers. I kind of always replace the dampers on Rhodes just because I find that the ones that are impacted a little bit are nice just because they hug more, but they can be really kind of hit or miss sometimes when it comes to if it's not completely in the middle, it might bend and not really mute all the way, and it's probably a $15 fix, so I think it's worth it. And while you're doing that, you also adjust the damper rods, make sure they're all in place. I think it's a really quick and easy fix and makes things just a little bit nicer, especially for someone who's going to be buying it that may not want to do maintenance in the future. A lot of this stuff is pretty much just future proofing. As always, with Rhodes, I'm always replacing these screws and grommets. Nobody wants an old crusty grommet carrying their vibrations up, and that really helps the tone, as you know. The only major difference, as you can see down here, are these 5 really shiny springs over here. These are Vintage Vibe bass, what do you call it? Dampening springs. Basically, if you have an oscillating tine and it's going side to side rather than up and down because of its length, you can put these on the bottom and it really tightens up that tine, makes it go nice and up and down, and it really improves the tone. You'll hear it in the demo. I didn't do it before and after, but the difference really is nice, especially for that 50 cents or so dollar you're paying for each one. I only do 5 at the bottom. You could do more. I don't really find that these really need any of that. It's a lot also for the 88 key sets, which don't have the tone bars, which also kind of oscillate really weird since they're so long. But this being a bottom of a 73 doesn't really need it too much, in all honesty. The only main issue that the seller did warn about was the A3. The A3 tine was broken. He didn't say it was broken, it just was. He said another key was also not working. I never found that key, but I did end up getting a replacement A3 tine, and I actually had to buy a tone bar as well, because I couldn't get that tine with this hex screw off. I could not get it off until I had my dad do it, which I already purchased the part for. So I kind of just said, screw it. So that's kind of the one non-shiny one here. But other than that, all the keys were working. There was no real issues with the key bushings. Honestly, I had to do no easing at all with the bushings, which is always a nice surprise. No rebushing of the felts, no redoing of any felt except for the dampers. The only real thing that was kind of interesting was that all the pickups here were all angled to the right, which kind of made everything a little off-center. I had to manually, obviously, when I was voicing, straighten them all out and make them a lot better. But I'm not too sure why the previous owner did that. Couldn't tell you. But he kept good care of it, so I guess I can't blame him too much. When it came to the keys, obviously I do the Vintage Vibe Miracle mod. Makes them a lot lighter, a lot more easier to play. Though sometimes, since they're so easy, these feel great. But sometimes they could be a little too easy, and the Rhodes just isn't meant for such rapid playing. Sometimes you could kind of bottom out and it doesn't play. But with a bass like this, I don't think that'd be an issue. Let's see. Got the harp, dampers. None of the pickups needed any help. I did just buy a Sparkle Top, which has the 71 pickup wire shielding, which I think is interesting. This is no shielding, this is just a Rhodes. It is a 10th week 76 model, and the sticker is peeling, which I do not really know how to fix, but it stays on, so I keep it on. And that pretty much wraps it up for the repair. It was pretty crazy how little I spent. I think it was $179, and most of that was the hardware and the tine replacement. But this is a great beginner project for anyone wanting to get into electric pianos. I think 32 keys is a great amount of keys to do miracle mods for, damper replacements, voicing in general. Rhodes voicing can be a little bit of a pain if you're not too great at it, and the bass certainly has its own kind of special voice. You definitely want more of a rounded out tuba. That's what I kind of go for, compared to more of a shine on the higher sections of the Rhodes. But it's just such a cute little package, a 50-pound package, which is 22 inches by 23 inches by 9 inches high. So it's not a small package. It is definitely shippable. I don't know why people don't ship these guys. Just pack it with foam. You'll be fine. But it's a really great beginner's option for leveling. Leveling is super easy. Anything is easy when there's only 32 keys, especially when you're doing 73, 88, and even on some of the Wurlitzers, it can be really tricky, especially with voicing and tuning, especially. With the Rhodes, they make it super easy, and I definitely would recommend picking up a bass. I'm picking up one right now. It's coming Thursday. I bought a Sparkle Top 71 because this is just so much fun. It took me a week to do. I'm curious what that one's all about and how I might keep it, but I probably won't because I can't fit it anywhere. I'm pretty much looking for either a Weltmeister or a Hohner Bass 3 or Bass 2, but those guys are still pretty thick. So if you want this Rhodes bass sound, definitely try it doing yourself. So anywho, I'll wrap up this video by doing my demos. It'll be the solo bass first, then I'll accompany it with the upright acoustic, which I just tuned yesterday, so hopefully it should sound pretty good. So if you enjoyed, stick around. You'll probably see more videos. I got some ones coming up about amplified Wurlitzers versus unamped. Pretty crazy difference. But if you enjoy, I also do other videos on other electric instruments. So stick around and take care.